Back to another exciting episode of Galatea Kills Everything, your #1 daily rated Metropolis weather program where Galatea kills everything. Tonight we're giving a second look at the Rock of Eternity casual raid. We're trying somebody who is substantially less prepared for it than the Ice Queen Galatea. That's right, we've got good old Atomic Gamma in the house tonight. She is here and she hates everybody. You can tell by her buzz cut that she is not here to take any shit off of you or anybody else. So, let's dig into it. The raid mechanics are basically the same as they were before. Not a lot of surprises, not a lot of changes. Faust, demon summoning evil bastard bad guy Faust. He's still the main guy that you're gonna fight right off the bat there. He does start with hand blast based offensive, so he's going to have some ranged attacks that are pretty powerful, but for the most part it's not going to matter because he prefers to use a shitload of different ability attacks. Let's go ahead and unpack some of those. Now, one of the more common ones he's going to use is that stun cube. You can see him using that all the time. It's a basic stun cube, so you can just use your standard block breakout and it'll get you out of that, but you do want to make sure you pay attention to it, break out of it as soon as it happens, because it's a stun and he has a ton of attacks. Now, thankfully we're in casual here, which means none of them are going to translate to immediately fatal if you fuck it up, but it's still important to stay mobile. It's the #1 rule for a reason. He has a second close range attack, which you're probably not going to see very often unless you're trying to fight him at melee range. He does that weird nom 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 nom, eating your soul crap. Just move away from him. The animation's actually going to keep him locked in that spot for a few seconds when he does that, which makes him very punishable with burst attacks or channeled, all sorts of different stuff. He just sits there waving his fucking hands around and you can beat the crap out of him while he's doing that. He does have a skull telegraph for a ranged attack that I really haven't been able to figure out what it actually does in casual. If you see a skull telegraph on normal, get out of the way. If you see a skull telegraph on elite, get out of the way and fucking block. But you're down here on casual, who knows what it does? We don't really care at this point in conversation because it's not doing enough for it to be bad for our health, so we're not going to worry about it. Now, he also has an attack where he uses the awesome power of Lethargy 2. We don't know. Just get close to him, beat the crap out of him. As long as you stay inside of that shiny circle, he can't hit you with it. It's not going to do any damage to you. And he'll stand there charging it up for like the next 5 seconds so you can beat the shit out of him while he's doing it. Kind of an awesome thing. That actually doesn't change at all throughout the course of the different difficulties either. He always has that one. It's always got the big telegraph and he can always punish him whenever he uses it. So keep that one in your back pocket. Finally, he will demonstrate his mastery of the awesome powers of narcolepsy to pass right the fuck out in the middle of the fight. It makes him invincible for the duration. He sits there in that shield. He summons a bunch of ads. You have to kill the ads before you can do any damage to him or move the fight forward. Now, this isn't really difficult so much as it is annoying, and he's going to do this at regular intervals. There's like 2 or 3, maybe even up to 4 times that he'll do it throughout the course of the fight. It seems to be fairly consistent with health drop levels, so anytime he summons the ads, go kill them, you can start whooping his ass again. Very, very simple stuff. Now, while we've got a moment here, since he's only at about half health, we've already covered all of his mechanics, let's talk about the differences in build. Now, Atomic is a lot different than Ice, and we're going to disregard entirely for a moment the differences in skill points and the differences in artifacts and things like that, and focus purely on the main mechanical differences between Atomic and Ice. First off, the bad news. Atomic is not as mobile as Ice is. Atomic does have a combo-based power set, which means you're pretty much going to be locked into place whenever you're doing things here. It doesn't mean that there's no opportunities for mobility, but it does mean that unlike Ice, which has a lot of those mobile channel powers that allow you to just move around while you're doing damage, Atomic doesn't do that. Atomic is very much locked into place whenever it's doing its combos, so you kind of need to pick your moments, do your combos, move, do your combos, move. Now, there's an upside to this. Two upsides, actually. First off, combo power set. If you're building with Omega, combo power sets are really nice. Combo powers build Omega very fast, and you're doing damage clean the entire time while you're using it. Second, combo power sets maintain very high hit counter, which means your supercharge from basic hits and things like that is always maintained at a slightly higher level. As you can see here, she's got a 90, 104, 109, 112. Just going through the roof on this one. I think Galatea's max combo is somewhere in the neighborhood of 17. So Atomic isn't necessarily left behind. It just works differently than Ice does. You do want to make sure that you have some mitigation up. Atomic does have a couple of different built-in mitigation options that Ice doesn't. It does have built-in self-healing, first and foremost. And second, I think more importantly than that, its standing defense bonus is better than Ice's. It's the only tank power in the game that has a standing defense bonus that's better than Ice. Now, its overall top defense bonus, because you'll remember, Ice armor's a real thing. It's not better than that, but it is better than just the base bonus. So, something to look forward to. Now we're in the back half of the fight. We've got Black Alice, who is basically emo magic cosplay rogue. She can temporarily steal magic powers from other magical entities, and doing so changes her appearance temporarily. Now, in the comics, this comes with a full wardrobe change, but here, as you can see, it's just a couple of different icons floating above her head. This was an opportunity that you missed, developer staff. We're not going to bitch too much about it, though. So Alice fights using brawling as her primary fighting style, which makes her counter vulnerable, but she also uses non-stop ability attacks, so I wouldn't rely on that too much throughout the course of this fight. She does have three basic sets of ability attacks. One is the Shazam set, the other one is the Dr. Fate set. Then in the third set is essentially both of those sets combined together. So let's go ahead and unpack what those look like. She does have a teleporting attack where she disappears and reappears. Lightning bolts hit wherever she was. Move and shield, you'll be fine. That's part of the Shazam set. The rest of the Shazam set looks like multiple projectile attacks. She has a series of large projectiles that she will fire in a line in a given area, and then a series of smaller lightning bolt type projectiles that she fires in a 360 pattern. On casual, neither of these is very damaging. You can block if you want to, but as long as you've got some incoming health-based mitigation, you shouldn't worry too much about it. She does have a heavy lightning attack that is kind of like Word of Power. Watch out for that one. It's not something you have to watch out for in this difficulty level, but if you're playing it on regular or elite, keep an eye open. The Dr. Fate ability set is remarkably similar. She does have large 360 multi-projectile attack. That's a skull telegraph on higher levels of difficulty. Watch out for it. She also has a smaller 360 projectile attack. This is just kind of a local area thing. It doesn't do as much damage and there aren't as many projectiles. She can mark you with an AoE that will track. You want to roll away from your team while this is on you. That way you don't get caught. Nobody blows up. She'll drop those onks. They have their own AoE landmine action going on, as you can see there. You want to roll away from those because they'll blow up and damage you, damage your team. She also has a really weird ability in the Dr. Fate set where she can literally just drop an energy ball right on your head. Now, It doesn't do a tremendous amount of damage in casual. It gets worse in normal and elite. But it's so weird because it's not a vector of attack you normally see, so keep an eye out for it. As you can see there, she's just like, I'll drop a bunch of these on your head right now. Once you get her down to about 30% health, she's going to combine the two, and she'll go into basically ability overdrive. She'll be hitting you non-stop with shit, teleporting around and blowing up the entire field the entire time. Again, casual, not so bad. Regular can be kind of challenging if you don't have good mitigation or a decent healer. Elite gets a little more serious. Keep your eyes open on Elite. Now, let's talk about build here for a second. This is a lower output character. I decided to do this on her just to have a good raid execute with my lower tank, but as you can see here, her stats aren't really all that special. Her base CR is only 333. She hasn't been around as long. Her artifacts are not very good. We've got a level 80 trans, level 100 strat, level 82 tet. I do have a bunch of good artifacts on her. I'm just not using them in this fight. And then we go over here, stat points. I've only got 148 skill points on her. Now, what does this all mean for you? She just soloed a casual 8-player raid by herself. It did take her a while. This video has been sped up. It's about a 42-minute execute if you do it with her specifically. Probably get a little faster with a little bit of practice, but there it is. That is 8-player tier 6 raid solo with a character that doesn't have any 200 artifacts, doesn't have 500 skill points, doesn't have 516 CR. If I can do it, you can do it. Good fight. Good night.